Hi, this is Joe Ludlow with Integrity Repipe, and I want to talk about Zurn Pex B. And I want to show you some of the problems that I run into as an installer of Zurn products. Now, one of the things I really like about Zurn is this right here. It's called Born On Date, and I'm hoping the camera can pick that up. But this is a real honest to God born on date. Not a born on code, a born on date. That should be, and it actually is required. But not everybody does it. Born on dates should be on every single pipe in every single house, without question. Now, that being said, there's a couple of things you need to be aware of and you need to watch out for if you're going to install Zurn, especially in the winter months. So, I had a phone call from some of the installers in Boston, and they were having a problem with installing Zurn pipe. And what was happening is when you put the pipe together, the pipe was splitting right here in the cold weather. So my suggestion to them was, and at first they didn't like it, but it's the right choice. You have to close the windows if there are windows there, or you have to cover the windows, use like a 3mm plastic and space heaters and heat the building up. Get the building up to 70, 72 degrees, get the pipe up off the floor, put it on a table. Put your fittings, your rings, and your pipe on a table. Warm everything up. Zurn Pex B has a habit when it's cold. Now, if you're anywhere along the Canadian border, or if you're at altitude, or the northeast, northwest, Mount Ord in Tucson. If you're at altitude and you're in really, really cold weather, regardless of where you're at, with the Zurn products, you have to be careful of splitting the pipe right here in cold weather. So, I recommend that you use a space heater, cover the windows up, heat the building up, try to get it as close to 70, 72 as you can, and then proceed. At the end of the day, your production, because you're working in a warmer building, you'll get more work done. It will average out. But Zurn pipe does not like being installed in cold weather. You need to be aware of that. You need to check for splits when you expand the pipe right here along this edge. Now, when Zurn first brought out their cold expansion fitting system, and the rings were not adequate. So I had a discussion with them, and I told them I wanted the rings to be tighter. So the second series of rings, they in fact made them tighter, which is good. And they made a better stop, which is good. But where they came up short is I asked for this ring to be wider. I would like to have been between 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch longer this way. The reason for that is simple. This last barb. The idea being from using copper crimp rings, which tighten too much, and it causes the plastic fittings to fail because the copper provides full 360 pressure, not hot spots like an Oetiker ring or a stainless steel rings have hot spots in them. And the copper doesn't really have hot spots in it. It's tight, 360. The problem with that is it's so tight that they actually cause the plastic and brass fittings to fail. They're just too strong. So on this product, Zurn would have been better served if they would have made this ring longer so they get a better bite on this last barb. That didn't happen. So that was my 3 suggestions. Better stop, tighter to the pipe, and longer. I got 2 out of 3 in the end, but I still am going to go down with this ship stating that this needed to be longer, being a better design, over a couple of cents a bag. Okay, so the rings were improved. Now here's the big problem with Zurn, and it is manufacturing defects. Now I don't know if you're going to be able to see that in this camera, but Zurn, you have to check the rolls. When you take it off the truck, you have to examine the pipe. And I don't know if you'll be able to see inside of that pipe. Let me try it this way. There's manufacturing defect on the inside of that pipe. And it goes, of course, to the outside of the pipe. So let me try rolling it again this way. I'm going to use my thumb for backstop, but I'm hoping that you guys can see that. Manufacturing defects. You have to examine the Zurn pipe before you put it in a wall. And so keep your eyes peeled for that kind of situation. It happens more frequently than you might think. Give you an example. This piece of pipe right here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 manufacturing defects in it alone. Now, I had another piece of pipe that a friend of mine came into my office. I showed him, and he snagged the pipe. I'm gonna make him pay for that. So my guys examine the rolls and look for manufacturing defects before they put the pipe into the wall. So what the irony is, there's your born on date right next to a manufacturing defect. So with Zurn, you have to check the pipe out and look for manufacturing defects. Installing in the cold weather, you've got to warm the pipe up, fittings, rings, warm it up, and watch for splits right on the outward downstream side of the barb. It just does not like being installed in cold weather. When I talked to the guys in Boston, they said once they heated the building up and with area heaters and installed the pipe, they never had a problem again. So they have far more experience in cold weather than I do. So that was my suggestion to them. The feedback I got from them that it did in fact work. And of course I told them to make sure you check every single roll, looking for manufacturing defects. And I want everybody that installs, start paying attention to born-on dates. Pipe without born-on dates on it is unacceptable, period. End of story. Not good. Born-on date codes, not good. Born-on dates, that's what they are. That's what they should be. No monkey business. Born-on dates. So, am I real happy with the situation as, well, I'd like to see less manufacturing defects out of the pipe. And let me invite anybody out there. if you install Zurn and you have any manufacturing defects, please consider not sending it to the Zurn representative, and to which it will go into a black hole and never be seen again. I would at least ask you to consider sending it to me. Any more manufacturing defects that I get out of the pipe, I'm going to show you. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I need to be fair, number one. And number two, I don't like people taking things out of my office that belong to me in an attempt to keep me from showing what's going on. So I'm going to be fair with everybody. And manufacturing defects, cold weather, you have to warm the pipe, the fittings, and the rings. And then you shouldn't have any problem. But if you get any manufacturing defects on the pipe, consider sending it to me. I will do a video on it, and I will show what's going on. I want the entire PEX industry to improve. This using the same old, and then telling me that I have to pay the prices that I pay and that the homeowners have to pay the prices I pay to use the exact same product until the year 2050. Not good enough. No, this whole system, every manufacturer needs to get better. When I go buy an iPhone, and let's say I buy that iPhone in 1970, and then every year I go buy a new iPhone and I pay more and more and more money for it. Would I be happy if I got the exact same iPhone in 2022 that I have been purchasing every year since 1970? No, I'm not going to be happy about that. But that's what's going on in my industry. The PEX industry is one plagiarized item after another plagiarized item, and it has just turned into a sea of the same. There's no vision. There needs to be new technology, and there needs to be technology advancement every year, just like other industries. The sheer volume of money that is involved in homeowners paying for these repipes, and me as a contractor paying for this material, there needs to be better technology constantly. The same old is not good enough. And that's what's bothering me. I want the technology to move forward, and I want it to move forward constantly. I want the homeowner to get better product, better warranties, because when things go wrong, the factory doesn't get the call when there's a flood in a house. I do. The lawyers don't get a chance to look at it until they show up for work and everybody else has had to deal with it. They don't deal with the alarm. The contractor does, no matter who it is. He's the one getting the phone call that there's a problem with a product. So, well, it's nice to have the advantage of dealing with it after the fact. The real problem is homeowners shouldn't be making that call anyway. And that's my real opinion. With this product, like all of it, doesn't matter who the manufacturer. Everybody needs to improve. There shouldn't be any more failures after install. And there shouldn't be amateurs installing it. Look at this. This is amateur hour right here. You know how many class action lawsuits have been attempted? Well, Uponor was in a class action lawsuit. Zurn was in a class action lawsuit. This is amateur. Those yellow brass fittings, they're going to fail every single time. The problem is the copper. The copper rings, not only do they work too well. They give you 360-degree pressure, and they never let up that pressure. So you get a little bit of deterioration, dezincification going on, chlorine, ammonia effects on the brass or the plastic, and it snaps it or it folds it over. These rings are so strong, installed properly on plastic, that they'll fold the inside barb over. So, yeah, copper crimp rings work. In fact, they work a little too well. They should be just a tiny bit. The problem is gauging them to where they're gauged perfectly. And there's very few guys that pay that much attention to this product. But yeah, this is professional repiping right here. This is amateur. Professional, amateur. Professional, amateur. And there's a whole bunch of amateurs out there claiming to be professionals. These are the real companies with the better warranties, better product. I hope that was helpful. And so, yeah, if you're going to use Zurn, watch for manufacturing defects. Keep the pipe warm, fittings warm, rings warm. And at least that's what I do. You have a good day. My name is Joe Ludlow. If you got any manufacturing defects from Zurn pipe, please send it to me. I will show it to the entire world. All right. Thank you. You have a good day.